Hey everybody, this is Kelly Miller. I'm the founder and CEO of Wine, Spirit, and Soul Network, the fearless leader of Wine, Spirit, and Soul Network. And I'm here today to just share a little information with you about what to do when you go wine tasting. A lot of times when people find out that I know anything about wine, the first thing they ask me is, how did you begin learning about it? Like, where did you go? How did you learn to kind of plug into that whole scene? So here I'm going to explain to you a few little things I learned during my journey of learning about wine, and hopefully they will serve to be as helpful to you as it was to me during my journey. First things first is learning about how to hold your wine glass. Now, I don't want to appear as if I'm talking down to anybody. I'm not condescending you. I understand that most people know what a wine glass is. However, whenever you walk into a wine tasting environment and you come in and your immediate inclination is to grab the bowl, you are announcing yourself as being an amateur. And I don't care whether or not you know a whole bunch about wine or you know absolutely nothing. If you want to appear as if you have some basic wine knowledge, first thing you want to do is start off by holding your wine glass properly, which means that you're going to want to hold it by the stem or by the base. Okay? There's a few reasons for why you want to do this. Number one, when you are holding your wine glass by the bowl, a lot of times you have oils that are in your fingertips, whether it's from lotion or just natural oils that come from your body. And when you touch the bowl, you end up putting little fingerprints all over the bowl of the wine. That's really not a good look. And especially when you get more into wine tasting and you're looking to evaluate certain things like color and clarity, it's very important that you have a nice, clear, clean wine glass. Something that there are no obstructions that keep you from really getting a good evaluation of the type of wine that you're drinking. So that's very important. Another important point about why you want to hold it by the stem is that when you are drinking different types of wine, wine is calibrated to drink its best at certain temperatures, okay? If you have a red wine typically drinks best when it is between 62 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you international folks, hopefully you're listening, that's generally going to be between 17 and 20 degrees Celsius, okay? If you are drinking white wine, generally white wine is going to taste its best between 49 degrees and 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and that would equivocate to being about 9 degrees to 13 degrees Celsius, okay? But sometimes when wine is cellared, it's cellared in a very cool place to preserve it, okay? And when you are touching your wine, heat that's going to naturally emanate from your body is going to be transferred through the glass, and it's going to warm up your wine, which can affect the way that your wine is going to taste and or smell. So if you don't want to obstruct that in any way, you want to hold your wine glass by the stem or by the base. Very simple. Also, if you are looking to aerate your wine by swirling and things, you can do that by holding the stem or the base just as well and maintain control over your glass. So we're not going to talk about swirling and all that other stuff today, but just FYI to you as another important reason as to why you're going to want to hold your glass by the stem. The next thing that I found to be really important and super helpful to me when I was learning about wine is whenever I walked into a wine tasting establishment, the main thing I concentrated on was asking questions. Whenever you want to find out information about anything, the best thing to do is just ask. You know, a lot of the people who are working behind the bar, they're there not just because they're trying to collect a check, but because they genuinely love and are excited and passionate about talking about wine. So if you have a chance to engage them about something that they're passionate about, they will be more than happy to share information with you about their passion. And you can learn so much from just talking to people behind the bar without even having to take a certified course or anything like that. So it's super duper important to ask questions. Put your pride aside. Don't worry about looking stupid. You got plenty of time to do that. Just ask. However, there is one caveat to that. If you walk into an establishment and there are wall-to-wall people covering the bar, and you see the people behind the bar running back and forth, trying to service everybody, it's probably not going to be the best time and place to start asking questions like, so how many bricks are in this wine? Or what kind of trellising system did you guys use in the vineyards when you were harvesting the grapes? It may be important information for you to know at some point, but at that point, it's probably not the best time or place to ask it. If you want to know that type of information, it's probably good if you come back when it's a lot quieter, there are a lot less people there, so that way you can get more of that one-on-one attention that you would need in order to feel comfortable about getting the information that you want. One other little added thing that I do need to make you aware of is whenever you walk into an establishment and you begin to ask questions because you're genuinely interested in learning more about the wine, and you come across a service provider who does not seem attentive, who does not seem receptive to wanting to answer any of your questions, then you can do one of two things. You can either go to another part of the bar and speak with somebody else who might be a little bit more knowledgeable or a little bit more courteous, or you can gracefully pack your things and your money and go somewhere else to go and buy some wine. I don't care how good the wine is. If you are not getting good customer service and people there make you feel like you're not wanted or that you're in some way inconveniencing them by asking questions and trying to make an informed buying decision, you can always show people better than you can tell them by packing your stuff up and taking your money elsewhere to people who actually value you and your service. So that's my other little sidebar to that. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is this wonderful little apparatus right here. This here is a dump bucket. I use something like this a lot of times whenever I'm putting together my tasting events. Sometimes whenever you go into a tasting bar, you may see them this size or even a lot larger depending on the volume of people that they normally service. But this is actually a very useful thing. Don't be thrown off by it. It is used as a receptacle for whenever people have leftover wine or beverage that they don't want any longer, and they pour it out into the this little dump bucket. The important thing about this is that sometimes you're going to witness something that for most of us in America we kind of frown upon, and it's called spitting. We look at it as being obscene and vulgar, and I would be lying to you if I told you it did not gross me out, because it does. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, really? Oh, that is so nasty. But you know, you have to keep certain things inside for the sake of being professional. But I'm saying this to you because I don't want to throw you, and I want this to be a really positive and memorable experience for you whenever you go out wine tasting, okay? And a lot of times people do that not because they necessarily think that the wine is nasty, but if they're tasting lots of different wines in a row and they don't want to ingest all that alcohol, they may swish it around in their mouth and then they're going to spit it out. My advice to you at that point is to make sure that you're far enough away that you don't get any of that nastiness on you. But definitely don't be thrown off by it. It's completely customary in the wine tasting environment to see people do this. And who knows, you may find yourself doing it yourself as well. Okay. So, quick little recap. First thing you want to do is you want to hold your wine glass properly. Second thing is you're going to always want to ask questions. And third thing, don't be afraid of the dump bucket. It can be your friend. If you have any more questions or any comments or any suggestions about other things that you want to learn about with us, please go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Like us first. We're at Wine, Spirit, and Soul Network. Also, if you want to learn about any of our previous posts that we've done or current posts that we're doing, or about any types of events that we put on, tasting events, networking events, or if you want to check out some of our cool reviews that we have that we're going to be posting up soon of some really amazing wine and spirits, please feel free to check us out on www.winespiritandsoul.com. I am Kelly Miller, and until the next time we talk, cheers.